Many of the world's countries have at least one official language. English is one of the top official languages in the world. 32 states have an official language, and 3 of them have more than one official language. English is the de facto, not official language of the US. Making English the official language of the United States has long been a subject of debate. English should no longer just be the de facto language of the US, but rather the official language of the United States.
One reason why America should make English the official language is that it would help build a sense of unity, national identity, and promote success by encouraging immigrants to integrate into American culture. By having English as the one commonality between all people living in America, the country would feel united under one large community rather than a bunch of separate communities that may feel distant and segregated due to potential language barriers. With the installment of English as our official language, our nation would be brought together with a sense of national unity and would reduce the amount of cultural divides. An example of a country being united with the induction of an official language is Indonesia. After the end of World War II, Indonesia regained its independence from Japan and made Malay, more commonly known as Indonesian, the official language of their new free nation. The installment of Indonesian as the official language of Indonesia helped the people of that nation come together and rebuild their home. The new sense of national unity that was created through the adoption of the Indonesian language across the entire country allowed for more Indonesians to learn and express themselves using that language and becoming conscious of the new ties that linked them all together. Today, Indonesian has become the language of national identity in Indonesia. Especially during these unprecedented times in our country, creating more national identity and unity is extremely important in getting our nation on a more positive track, politically, physically, and humanely. Another example is that many immigrants also support making English the official language of the United States. In statistics gathered by the U.S. English Incorporation, 57% of Hispanics say that immigrants have to speak English to say that they are a part of American society. Through this statistic, we can see that Hispanics living in America feel that they need to understand English in order to consider themselves American. This statistic shows that national identity can be instilled through the English language. Immigrants moving to America want to be able to call this country home and call themselves Americans. By installing English as America's official language, that would help newcomers transition into their newfound identity. Another reason is that many Hispanic immigrants living in America support the adoption of English as the official language of the U.S. because of its promotion of a successful career. Within the statistics gathered by the U.S. English Incorporation, 87% of Hispanics believe that Hispanic immigrants need to learn English to succeed in the U.S. Additionally, another statistic reports that nearly the same percentage of immigrants, about 85%, believe it is very hard or somewhat hard for new immigrants to get a job or do well in this country without speaking English. By learning or speaking English, immigrants of all different cultures will be given more opportunities in the workforce because of their capability of knowing English, which is the predominant language in America. Knowing English is also a great resume builder for immigrants and would allow them to apply to jobs in which English is a prerequisite, as well as jobs that require or appreciate people who are bilingual.
Secondly, making English the official language of the United States wouldn't violate anyone's rights. These laws are not the same as English-only laws. Making English the official language would only mean that it would be the standard language of government operations, and that it would need to use English when acting in any official or legal capacity. This means that it would not affect private citizens or businesses, only the government. These official English laws would also result in federal documents being produced in English, the majority of which already are. It would also not affect foreign language teaching. One of the biggest proponents, U.S. English, actually encourages language learning at all education levels. Because making English the official language of the United States only restricts the government, these laws would not violate the freedom of speech afforded to us by the First Amendment. And in the case of ballots, voters who require assistance are currently allowed to be given assistance by a person of their choice. This law includes those who cannot read or write, so if ballots were to be printed solely in English, then anyone who cannot do so in English would be included in this category. Another way that this does not affect individuals is that in order for one to become a naturalized U.S. citizen, one must be able to read, write, and speak English. And in order to vote in the U.S., you need to be a U.S. citizen. Canada also requires individuals to be able to speak English or French in order to become naturalized citizens, as those are their official languages. There would be exceptions and provisions that would allow for the government to communicate in other languages. Any laws would also provide exceptions that protect our constitutional rights, as well as public health and safety. Out of the 32 states that have made English the official language, none of them prohibit any government agencies from using another language when it is in the public's interest to do so. The United States could also take after other countries that have official languages. There are numerous countries that have more than one national language, such as Canada, Belarus, and Haiti. There are also many others that have official minority and/or regional languages in addition to an official language, such as Austria, China, Ireland, and Poland. This route would lead these areas with a high density of foreign language speakers to produce documents and communicate in an official capacity with other languages. The U.S. could also follow Kosovo's lead, where in municipalities with a community whose native language is not an official language, the language of the community can be given an official status.
Another reason why English should be made the official language of the United States is that it is practical for our government. America would save a ton of money in a multitude of ways, one of which is ballot printing for voting. President Emeritus of Boston University, John Silber, said in 1996 that bilingual ballots impose an unacceptable cost by degrading the very concept of the citizen to that of someone lost in a country whose public discourse is incomprehensible to him. Printing bilingual ballots has a steep cost for our government to pay. However, if English was made the official language of the U.S., then there would be no need to print these ballots.
Lastly, there's a global and national prevalence and prominence of English. English is widely considered the global language of commerce. For instance, in 2010, the CEO of Rakuten, Japan's largest online marketplace, made English the company's official language. Half of the employees can now communicate in English. 25% communicate in English with partners and coworkers in foreign subsidiaries on a daily basis. English is also the #1 language of international publishing. While both in the US without an official language and Canada with 2 official languages have language requirements for becoming naturalized citizens, 20% of US citizens have a native language that is not English, but 8% of those do not speak English. However, 18% of Canadian citizens have a native language other than French or English, and only 2% of them do not speak either. In the United States, 91.7% of U.S. citizens can speak English, and of this, an estimated 86% are monolingual, meaning that they only speak English. Out of the remaining 13% of people who speak English, 79% consider themselves to speak English well to very well. While English is the 3rd most spoken native language in the world behind Mandarin and Spanish, it is the top most spoken languages when both native and non-native speakers are taken into account. English is the most common official language in the world, and 32 states have made English their official language. English is so prevalent that it is spoken by 1 in 4 people. So why haven't we made it the official language of our nation?